I am a multimillionaire, not in the distant future, not one day, now. I have stepped into the reality where this truth lives. I no longer beg for it. I no longer chase it. I am it. I breathe it. I walk in it. And the world responds to my assumption of truth. My bank account may not yet show millions, but I do. My consciousness holds the vibration of wealth, and that is all that matters. Because this world, it's not happening to me, it's happening through me. I close my eyes and I see it. I feel the richness in my home, the elegance in my steps, the certainty in my voice. I walk as one who has, not one who wishes. And the law is clear. What I accept within must appear without. I do not check the outside world for proof. I do not ask permission from circumstances. I am the cause. I am the root. I am the source of the wealth I experience. I no longer try to become. I am. The truth is, I always was. I had simply forgotten. But now I remember. I remember that I am the dreamer and the dream, the artist and the canvas, the speaker and the echo. So I affirm again, not in doubt, but in power. I am a multimillionaire. It is done. It is finished. It is so. And all things now rearrange themselves to make this reality unfold perfectly. Let the world say what it will. I am unmoved, for I have claimed the highest truth, and that truth will not return to me void. Watch as life bends to the story I now live, because I have declared it, I have assumed it, and therefore I am. The secret is not in striving or struggling to become something, it is in being. The transformation does not happen when you finally have the millions. It happens the moment you accept, without resistance, that you are already what you desire to be. The great shift in life occurs when you stop chasing and start claiming. This is the subtle yet powerful art of assumption. You are not wishing to be a multimillionaire, you are being one in consciousness, right here, right now. When you assume the identity of a multimillionaire, you are not merely engaging in positive thinking or blind optimism. You are performing a sacred act of inner alignment. You are saying to the universe, "This is who I am." And that declaration reverberates through the fabric of reality. You are no longer observing wealth as something far from you. You are no longer hoping to reach it. You are embodying it. This means you think like a multimillionaire, you walk like one, you speak from that reality, you make decisions not based on fear or lack, but from the confidence and abundance of your new identity. Your emotional state, your choices, and even your posture begin to reflect that truth. Not because you're pretending, but because you know. This assumption must become natural to you. You must no longer feel awkward about calling yourself wealthy. You must no longer entertain the identity of someone who hopes to have money one day. That version of you cannot create wealth. It only creates more distance. When you assume the identity now, you collapse the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You bring the future into the present, but this is not done by force. It is done in quiet confidence. In imagination, in feeling. At night, before sleep, you see yourself already living in abundance. You visualize the moments of your new life as if they were happening now, and you feel it, not in desperation, but in joy. You smile at your wealth. You rest in your abundance. You wake up already full. To assume is not to fake. It is to claim. When an actor assumes a role, he immerses himself so deeply in the identity that he becomes it on stage. Likewise, You must assume the identity so fully in your inner world that the outer world has no choice but to conform. The world mirrors your inner state. So if you want to experience wealth on the outside, you must create it within. It is not your job to figure out the how. It is your job to become the who. The world responds not to effort, but to embodiment. What you embody, you attract. What you embody, you experience. And the moment you declare, "I am a multimillionaire," with conviction, not doubt, you begin to breathe new life into your world. Doors open, opportunities appear, synchronicities unfold. Why? Because you stopped waiting, you started being. You became it in mind, you became it in spirit, and life, bound by the law of reflection, has no choice but to echo back what you are. You are not becoming a multimillionaire. You are one. Your imagination is not a fantasy machine. It is your creative power. It is the first cause of all that you experience. Everything you see in the outer world is a mirror reflecting what has first lived in the unseen realm of your mind. This is not metaphor, it is law. The wealth you seek is not somewhere in the distance, hiding in the future, or buried in hard work. It already exists, fully formed within you, waiting for one thing: your acceptance. The world does not bring you what you want, it brings you what you are conscious of being. The moment you see yourself as rich in imagination, not as a vague hope, but as a real, living fact, the wheels begin to turn. Reality is molded by the images you hold within. Imagination is not weak or passive, it is the very engine of creation. The unseen shapes the seen. The inner vision becomes the outer form. You do not need to look to your bank account for confirmation. That account is the result of past thinking, old assumptions. If you wish to change it, you must go to the root. You must dare to believe that what you picture in your mind is more real than what you see with your eyes. You must treat the invisible as the foundation of the visible. And from that sacred understanding, you begin to imagine, not as a child dreaming, but as a creator claiming. Imagine not just money in your hand, but the feeling of freedom, the taste of confidence, the peace of knowing all is provided for. Picture the life of the wealthy not as distant and untouchable, but as yours, already unfolding. Walk in those images, dwell in them, fall asleep in them, and most of all, feel them. For imagination is not just what you see, it is what you feel deeply as true. You may ask, how can that make a difference? But ask instead, has anything I've ever experienced not begun with a thought, a feeling, a mental picture? The answer is no. Everything, every relationship, every possession, every opportunity entered your life because you became available to it in consciousness. So why would wealth be any different? If you continue to see yourself as one who lacks, who is separate from riches, who must earn worthiness through toil, then that story will replay endlessly. But the moment you withdraw your attention from what is and place it fully on what can be, and imagine it as now already done, everything changes. You align with the truth that you are the source, you are the vessel through which wealth expresses itself. The world responds to inner conviction, not outer need. It bends to the man or woman who dares to live from imagination instead of limitation. To imagine is to plant the seed. To persist in that image is to water it. And to feel its truth, even before it flowers, is to guarantee its harvest. So close your eyes. See yourself already living the life, not begging for it, not waiting for it, living it. See it in high definition. Feel the richness in your skin, the comfort in your home, the clarity in your mind. And know this, it is not a fantasy. It is the beginning of reality. Your imagination is not fiction, it is creation. Use it wisely and it will mirror back to you a world beyond your wildest dream. Feeling is the secret. It is not merely the thought of wealth that manifests riches. It is the feeling of being wealthy that changes everything. Thought may set the direction, but feeling fuels the creation. It is your emotional state that speaks most clearly to the creative power within you. And the language it understands is not words, it is conviction, emotion, and embodiment. You must learn to feel rich before the world shows you the money. You must feel abundant while the bank balance may still reflect lack. Why? Because the outer world is not the cause of your inner state, it is the result. If you wait to feel wealthy until you have proof, you are trapped in a loop. But when you decide to feel wealthy now, without condition, you signal to life itself, this is who I am. And the world, by law, must echo that back to you. Do not wait for the evidence to allow yourself to feel what is already yours. Do not ask, when will it come? Ask instead, how deeply can I feel it now? Feel the joy of freedom, the peace of security, the quiet confidence that comes from knowing everything is taken care of. Feel what it would be like to live in overflow, not in fantasy, but in emotional truth. Your feelings are magnetic. They draw to you experiences that match their tone. A heart soaked in gratitude, joy, and certainty will always outcreate a mind full of doubt and logic. You cannot trick life with empty affirmations. You must mean what you feel. You must move beyond saying you are wealthy and begin feeling as though you already are. That shift changes everything. When you lie down at night, saturate your imagination with the feeling of already being rich. Picture the scenes that would naturally unfold in your life if money were no longer a concern. Would you walk differently, speak with more ease, laugh without worry, rest without anxiety? Hold those feelings. Let them become your dwelling place. The truth is, you are always feeling something. If you are not consciously choosing abundance, you may be unconsciously choosing lack. You may be rehearsing feelings of fear, stress, and not enoughness. And life responds not to what you want, but to what you most consistently feel. That is why it is not the wishers who receive, but the feelers. So shift now. Begin this very moment to evoke the emotion of wealth. You don't need a reason. You don't need validation. You are not asking for permission. You are claiming your birthright. Let yourself smile for no reason. Let your breath slow down as though everything is already working out. Let your posture rise, your spirit lift, your energy brighten, simply because you have chosen to align with abundance. This practice is not about delusion. It is about creation. You are tuning your inner world to match the life you wish to live. And once the feeling becomes natural, once it feels normal to walk in wealth, the outer world must catch up. It has no choice. It is only ever a reflection of you. So, feel it. Not once, not sometimes, but until it becomes who you are. That is the secret. That is the way. To live from the end is to occupy the state of your desire as though it were already fulfilled. It means abandoning the waiting, the hoping, and the postponing, and stepping directly into the version of yourself who already possesses what you seek. You do not beg for wealth, you embody it. You do not chase success, you carry it. The outer world may not yet reflect the riches, but your inner world lives in them completely. This is where the shift begins. Most people live from the middle. They see where they are and they measure their next steps based on circumstances. They say, once I have the money, then I'll feel secure. Once I get the opportunity, then I'll act confident. Once life changes, then I'll believe. But this is backwards. You will not feel rich after you get the money. You will get the money after you feel rich. Living from the end means asking yourself daily, what would I do? How would I think? Who would I be if it were already done? If you were already a millionaire, what energy would you move in? What thoughts would dominate your mind? What decisions would you make, and how would you carry yourself? The moment you begin living as though it's true, you give life no choice but to arrange the pieces to reflect that truth. You must speak like it's done. You must walk like it's done. You must breathe like it's done, because in consciousness it is done, and that is the only place creation ever begins. Life does not respond to your hopes. It responds to your assumptions. If you assume wealth as your present state, not your future possibility, you begin to align with the version of reality where it already exists. This is not pretending. Pretending is hollow and filled with doubt. Living from the end is filled with knowing. It is a quiet certainty that what you desire is already yours, even if unseen. The outer evidence may lag behind, but you do not waver. You persist in the assumption. You return again and again to the state of being it until the feeling becomes natural. And when it becomes natural, life flows. Ideas come, people appear, doors open, not because you forced them, but because you finally matched the frequency of the life you wanted. The end is the cause, not the effect. When you live from the end, the world has no option but to reorganize itself to reflect your new identity. Ask yourself, am I acting from lack or from abundance? Am I making choices from fear or from freedom? You must train your imagination to dwell at the destination, not the delay. See the life, feel the success, taste the wealth, not one day, now. Your current reality is not a verdict, it is a shadow of yesterday's belief. And if you dare to believe in a new reality today, so vividly, so consistently, so boldly, then tomorrow must deliver it. So stop waiting, stop hoping, stop seeking validation, live as though it's already yours. Because in the world of imagination, the end is already here. And when you live from it, you become it. What you see with your eyes right now is not the truth. It is only a reflection of your past thoughts, feelings, and assumptions. The present situation, no matter how real or fixed it may appear, is nothing more than a shadow of what once lived within you. It is the echo of old beliefs. To treat it as permanent is to forget your creative power. To give it authority over your inner world is to hand your future to your past. But you are not a prisoner of circumstance. You are the author of reality. You must learn to ignore what appears to be and trust in what is becoming. If you continue to focus on lack, hardship, or limitations because they seem real, you will only extend them. The outer world is not a creator, it is a follower. It bends itself to match your dominant state of consciousness. This means if you want change, you must start with your inner world. You must revise how you feel, how you think, how you identify. You must believe in the unseen more than what is seen. It is easy to get discouraged by what the senses show you. The unpaid bills, the limited income, the current job, the absence of support. But none of these things are fixed unless you say they are. None of these define your future unless you keep repeating their story. When you see something in the physical world that contradicts your desire, the secret is to look within and reaffirm what is true there. If your heart holds the truth of abundance, the outer world must eventually conform to that. It cannot resist forever. Do not argue with reality. Do not beg it to change. Simply shift your focus. Your attention is creative. What you give it to, you give life to. So stop energizing the problems. Stop feeding the facts that no longer serve you. Look instead to the inner world, the place where you are free to imagine, to believe, to assume. It is in this inner sanctuary that your new life is born. When you ignore the outer world, you're not denying its existence. You're denying its power to define your identity. You are choosing not to be limited by what was created yesterday. You are choosing to invest in the present moment, not as a reaction to what is, but as a conscious creation of what will be. And the more you practice this, the faster your reality shifts. The people around you may not understand. They may tell you to be realistic, to face facts. But what they call facts, you understand as effects. What they see as unchangeable, you see as temporary. Because you know the truth. The world outside is a mirror, and mirrors only reflect what stands before them. Change the image within, and the reflection must change too. So no matter what your current reality looks like, hold steady to your inner truth. Stay loyal to the feeling of your desire already fulfilled. Walk in faith, not in reaction. Persist in the assumption that all is well, all is unfolding, and all is yours. The world may resist at first, but it must yield. It always does. Ignore the noise. Trust your inner vision. That is where your power lives. That is where transformation begins. Persistence in the assumption is not about forcing anything. It is about remaining loyal to the unseen truth you have chosen to believe. When you say, I am a multimillionaire, you are not making a wish or sending out a hopeful thought. You are declaring an identity. And once declared, that identity must become your mental home. Every thought you entertain, every feeling you nurture, every image you accept must be in harmony with that reality. There can be no wavering, no second guessing, no returning to the old self. This is where most people fall short. They affirm wealth in the morning and doubt it by noon. They feel abundant during meditation, but collapse into fear when bills arrive. That is not persistence. That is contradiction, and contradiction delays creation. If you want to see your outer world change, you must develop an inner world that does not change. You must be immovable in the face of appearances and stubborn in your belief that what you desire is already done. Persistence is not about time, it is about stability. It is about refusing to shift your attention back to the evidence of the old story. You must live in the new story so completely, so consistently that the old one withers away from lack of attention. You starve it by ignoring it. You outgrow it by outbelieving it. To persist in the assumption of being a multimillionaire means that you do not merely visit the feeling, you dwell in it. You make it your permanent address in consciousness. When doubt tries to sneak in, you don't entertain it. When fear whispers, you don't listen. You go back to your truth, you go back to your vision, you go back to your knowing. This is not about arrogance. It is about alignment. You are aligning your thoughts, emotions, and expectations with the reality you wish to experience. And once aligned, you stay there. You don't wait to feel like a multimillionaire, you feel it now. You don't ask when it will happen, you declare that it is happening now. Not because the world has shown it to you, but because your assumption has made it real. The mind may try to pull you back. The world may offer no sign, but if you persist, the signs must come. The outer world is slow to change, not because it resists, but because it reflects, and reflection takes time. Keep your eyes on the vision, even when there is no evidence. Keep your emotions centered in abundance, even when lack tries to speak. Keep your imagination filled with the life you have already claimed. Persistence does not mean struggle. It means faith. It means walking by inner sight, not outer circumstance. And with each moment you hold to the new identity, you are moving deeper into alignment with your chosen reality. Eventually, the persistence becomes natural. The new state becomes familiar, and then it must harden into fact. So remain loyal. Do not shift. Do not compromise. Your assumption is your creation. Stay in it, breathe in it, live in it, and the world will bend not by force but by law. Because what you persist in feeling, you must one day experience. You are not becoming a multimillionaire, you already are. Not in some distant future, not in a far off hope, but right now, in consciousness. That is where it begins. By assuming the identity, living from the end, feeling the reality of wealth, and ignoring what appears to be, you shift the very foundation of your life. You no longer chase, you no longer beg, you no longer react, you create. Stay loyal to the vision, persist in the assumption, feel the abundance as your truth. The world is already rearranging itself to reflect the state you now occupy. The law is simple. What you are within, you become without. And now you know. You are a multimillionaire. Setu, thanks in closing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for daring to believe in more. And thank you for remembering who you really are. Your new life has already begun. Now walk in it.